Good morning. Welcome to today's New York City Council hearing for the Committee on Higher Education. Please silence all cell phone electronic devices, and as a friendly reminder, do not approach the dais. If you wish to participate in today's hearing, please fill out an appearance card with the Sergeant at Arms. Chair, we are ready to begin.
Good afternoon. I'm Councilmember Eric Dinowitz, Chair of the Committee on Higher Education. Welcome to today's hearing welcome to our hearing on today's oversight topic, examining student graduation rates at CUNY campuses. As a proud CUNY graduate, as well as a proud husband of a CUNY graduate, son of a CUNY graduate, brother of a CUNY graduate, the graduation rates at CUNY campuses are important to me. They're obviously 100% in my family. They're important to this committee. And now I have to say, as a proud CUNY 50 under 50, which is me now, I was going to do 40 under 40, but I just this Friday missed that cutoff. And they said, you can't do it. You're too old. So now I'm 50 under 50. But this is an important topic to this committee and, of course, to our city. Nationally, college graduation rates are not what we might expect or hope for. Looking at the just over full-time and part-time 2.3 million students who entered college in the United States for the first time in the fall of 2018, about 71% who started at a public four-year institution graduated 6 years later. So I just want to highlight that again. At a four-year institution, 71% who started at a four-year institution graduated in 6 years, and about 43% who started at a two-year public institution graduated 6 years later. That is last year in 2024. And looking at the results for all 2- and 4-year students entering all U.S. higher education institutions in the fall of 2018, the data show that only about 6% graduated after 2 years, 13% after 3 years, and 44% after 4 years. Reasoning from these data, we can see that nationally speaking, a tiny percentage of presumably two-year college students graduate in 2 years, and the majority of four-year college students do not graduate in 4 years. An article by John Marcus in the Hetchinger Report summed up the national picture of college graduation rates in its title, which is, most college students don't graduate in 4 years, so college and the government count 6 years as success. It's a long political story as to why 6 years rather than 4 years became the norm for judging graduation rates several decades ago, but it gets even worse. The U.S. Department of Education has gone one step further. It provides consumer information on its website for College Scorecard, a tool that compares colleges on many factors. One of those factors is 8-year, not even 6-year, 8-year graduation rate, or as Marcus wrote in his article, that's like judging the performance of an airline by the percentage of its flights that take up to twice as long as scheduled to reach their destinations. Marcus noted in his article that students are partly responsible for not hitting the traditional 4-year graduation goal of students seeking bachelor's degrees for a variety of reasons, including coming to college underprepared or unprepared, not taking a full load of courses each term, and having to meet other personal obligations like working or taking care of family members while in school. But he also noted that colleges are partly responsible for their students' graduation issues for a variety of reasons, including not scheduling enough sections of required courses in a timely fashion, providing insufficient advising, and being unnecessarily stingy in accepting transfer credits. David Bergeron, former acting Assistant U.S. Secretary of Education for Post-Secondary Education, observed that with more incoming students bringing in college credits they earned in high school through the College Board's advanced placement courses and through dual enrollment credits and other programs that let students earn college credit while in high school, quote, the question we should be asking is, why does it even take 4 years? Why doesn't it just take 3? That's a powerful question, especially when we know that CUNY has many great college credit-bearing programs in place in New York City public high school. We even did a hearing on them. And I even taught in schools that provided these courses. So what are CUNY's graduation rates? According to the data provided in the Mayor's Management Report for fiscal years 2018 through 2025, the 6-year graduation rate for students earning an associate's degree has hovered around 37%, showing a slight increase and then a slight decrease across the 8-year span, and ending up just a bit higher than it started out. Today, CUNY's 6-year graduation rate for students earning an associate's degree is about 36.5%. So let's look at the 6-year graduation for students earning a bachelor's degree. From fiscal years 2018 through 2025, the 6-year graduation rate has hovered around 60%, showing a slight increase and then a slight decrease across the 8-year span, and ending up just a tiny bit higher than it started out today. Today, CUNY's 6-year graduation rate for students earning a bachelor's degree is 57.9%. Okay, so that was a lot of numbers, but here's a summary. About a third of CUNY's associate degree students earn their traditionally 2-year degree in 6 years. And just over half of CUNY's bachelor's degree students earn their traditionally 4-year degree in 6 years. Both of these CUNY graduation rates are lower than the national figures. Interestingly, CUNY's graduation rates have been largely unaffected by the pandemic. I'm looking forward to hearing how many CUNY students actually graduate on a traditional timeline. That is, how many 2-year students graduate in 2 years, and how many 4-year college students graduate in 4 years. Further, the committee is interested in knowing what CUNY programs are in place to improve those numbers and what targets CUNY has set for itself. That is, what does CUNY believe those graduation rates should be? Finally, the committee, as always, wants to know what additional support the City Council might need to provide. I want to thank Adam Staropoli, my Legislative and Budget Director, Jenna Klaus, my Chief of Staff, Julia Goldsmith-Pinkham, the committee's Senior Legislative Counsel, Regina Paul, the committee's Senior Policy Analyst, and a very special thank you to Jeff Rodas, who this is his last CUNY hearing, and I'm sure he's very thrilled about this. And I'm about to swear you in, but I've made a solemn oath to Jeff. I'm going to raise my right hand and swear I will be nice at this hearing. He has, he said, be nice. I said, so I'm saying for your final hearing, Jeff has been just not only a good friend to me, but a consummate public servant, and has given so much of himself and his career to our city. So I just want to thank you, Jeff. We're sorry to see you go, but I think like everyone, you're going to enjoy retirement. I want to remind everyone who wants to testify in person that you must fill out an appearance card, which is located on the desk of the Sergeant at Arms near the entrance of the room. Please fill it out even if you have already registered to testify in advance. Public testimony will be limited to 3 minutes. My colleagues will limit their questions to 5 minutes. Now, I've already taken my oath to you, and now in accordance with the rules of the council, I will administer the affirmation. Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this committee, and respond honestly to council member questions? Thank you. As a reminder to our witnesses, please state your name prior to your testimony for the record.
Good afternoon, Chairperson Dinowitz. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today about the graduation rates at the CUNY colleges. I'm Sarah Trilsch, Assistant Dean for Policy Research in the CUNY Central Office. I'm joined today by my colleagues Christine Bronyart, the university's Executive Director of ASAP and ACE, and Allison Peace, Provost and Senior Vice President of Academic Affairs at John Jay College. I'd like to begin by describing CUNY's current graduation rates and putting them in the context of the last decade. I'll briefly mention some high-level efforts that CUNY has undertaken to improve graduation rates before turning to my colleagues to provide more detail on how CUNY is working to increase persistence and completion. As already stated, the most recent 6-year graduation rate reported in the Mayor's Management Report for bachelor students was 57.9%. down from 60%. Now, the decline in graduation rates no doubt reflects the considerable disruptions associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. The most recent graduation rate is for students who began as freshmen in fall 2018. For these students, the pandemic lockdowns that started in February 2020 took place during their sophomore year of college and persisted throughout what would have been their third and fourth years of college and interfered with both their education and the larger conditions of their lives. Now, despite the unprecedented challenges posed by the pandemic, the longer-term trend in CUNY's bachelor's graduation rates is positive. Even with the recent decline, CUNY's most recent 6-year bachelor's graduation rate is higher than it was just 7 years earlier, and fully 4 percentage points higher than it was 9 years earlier. The longer-term trend in steady improvement in graduation rates represents many efforts to better support students. Also to note, student retention into a first and second year has been increasing since the height of the pandemic, and the most recent first-year retention rates were the highest since 2019. The trend in CUNY's associate degree graduation rates is similar. The 6-year system graduation rate, that is for the 2018 entering cohort, was 36.5%, down from 37.6% reported the previous year. But once again, this rate is likely influenced by the disruptions of the pandemic. And again, the longer-term trend shows progress. The most recent 6-year graduation rate for associate students is higher than it was 6, 7, 8, and 9 years earlier. Although the longer-term trend in associate graduation rates are positive, since 2016, more and more CUNY freshmen have been enrolling in bachelor's programs at CUNY's senior colleges, rather than in the community colleges. Many students who were more likely to graduate from community colleges in 2 to 3 years have made the decision to pursue their bachelor's degree directly out of high school and are now attending the senior colleges. The advantage of this enrollment shift is it has given more students more direct pathways towards bachelor's degrees than in the past. This is a benefit because bachelor's degrees are generally linked with higher wages and better job opportunities than associate degrees. In academic year 23-24, 67% of the undergraduate degrees CUNY awarded were bachelor's degrees, up from 59% 10 years ago. Now, turning towards plans to improve persistence and completion. In January of this year, CUNY's Central Office of Academic Affairs convened several working groups of faculty and administrators to recommend ways to improve retention and graduation and establish a common standard of care for all CUNY students. The group's draft report identifies strategies that are currently in place and promising, or those that are based on national best practices that aim to improve student persistence and completion. These include integrating academic and career advisement to increase students' engagement, persistence, and timely completion by connecting their educational journey to larger life goals. Also, increasing training and guidance for using the university's academic advising technology, and increasing attention to and resources for courses with high failure and withdrawal rates. On top of these university-wide efforts, the individual colleges have also undertaken efforts tailored to the needs of their individual student populations, some of which Provost Peace will discuss later. In addition, one of the main drivers of the substantial increases in CUNY's associate degree graduation rates over the past decade has been the expansion of the ASAP program, which my colleague Christine Bronyart will describe. That concludes my testimony. Thank you for your time. I now turn to Christine Bronyart to discuss ASAP and ACE.
Good afternoon, Chairperson Dinowitz, members of the City Council Higher Education Committee. I'm Christine Bronyart. I'm the University Executive Director of CUNY ASAP and ACE. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today about CUNY's Accelerated Study and Associate Programs and Accelerate, Complete, and Engage, otherwise known as ACE, which is an adaptation of the ASAP model that supports bachelor-seeking students. These models have proven to have remarkable impact on participating students' persistence, retention, and completion trajectories, and demonstrate what is possible when robust financial, personal, and individualized resources are proactively provided to students in real time as barriers to their persistence emerge. This program model has transformed the lives of thousands of New Yorkers and stands as a national model for student success. Since inception in 2007, ASAP has served nearly a total of 120,000 unique students, ACE, just over 8,000 unique students, and has been replicated with fidelity at nearly 70 institutions across 9 states. In the last year, the model has been scaled across SUNY, as well as replicated across the North Carolina Community College system through an unprecedented $35 million investment from philanthropy. The programs continue to demonstrate remarkable impact across CUNY and have now recuperated their enrollment health in the post-COVID climate. This past fall, both ASAP and ACE exceeded our fall 2025 new student recruitment target by 10.5% in ASAP and 20% in ACE. This is on the heels of our robust enrollment performance last academic year, where ASAP enrolled 22,554 students, representing 42% of CUNY's first-time, full-time associate degree-seeking population. City support for ASAP remains the largest baseline allocation to CUNY, supporting an annual enrollment of up to 24,000 program students and maintaining a current annual cost per student of $3,391. ASAP is currently offered at 9 of CUNY's associate degree granting institutions, and the model has been effectively adapted to a 5-year bachelor's degree completion model at our comprehensive colleges, offering a seamless transition from ASAP to ACE. Due to continued support from the city and new funds provided by the state this fiscal year, ACE is offered at 10 CUNY comprehensive and senior colleges, maintaining an annual cost per student of $3,447. Both ASAP and ACE have doubling impact on degree completion rates when compared to non-program first-time freshmen. The fall 2021 ASAP cohort graduated at a 3-year rate of 38.5% and a 2-year rate of 22%. This compares favorably to the prior cohort, which graduated at a 3-year rate of 36.2% and a 2-year rate of 21.7%. Note that these cohorts include first-time freshmen, continuing and transfer students with less than 21 credits. When looking only at first-time freshman graduation performance for the fall 21 cohort, ASAP continues to more than double 3-year completion rates when compared to non-ASAP students. That's 35% versus 15%. While ASAP's graduation performance has declined since its ambitious expansion from 4,000 to 25,000 students per year, an updated analysis of ASAP's impact across the fall 17 and the fall 21 cohorts confirmed that ASAP continues to have large, significant, and positive impacts on all subgroups. While graduation rates vary by subgroup, all, regardless of race, ethnicity, and gender, graduate at much higher rates in the program than without it, ranging from an estimated 15.6 to 27.9 percentage points higher. As ASAP has scaled to serve nearly a third of all incoming freshmen and even a larger percentage of Hispanic and Black freshmen, it has contributed to notable increases in CUNY 3-year system graduation rates, with the biggest improvements amongst students of color. ACE, which launched first at John Jay College of Criminal Justice in 2015, has also demonstrated remarkable outcomes for both first-time freshmen and associate degree holding transfer students, with freshman students graduating at a 4-year rate of 45.7% and transfer students at a 2-year rate of 69.7% for the most recent cohorts. More strikingly are the 5-year bachelor's completion rates for students at our comprehensive colleges who move seamlessly from the associate to bachelor's track. 75.2% of these students complete their bachelor's within 5 years. Like ASAP, ACE has been rigorously evaluated, confirming that the program had a significant impact on 4-year graduation rates, and more strikingly, the observed difference between ACE students and controls were almost 3 times as high for Black and Hispanic or Latino students than white students. ASAP and ACE offer a comprehensive support package that ensures all barriers to maintaining full-time enrollment are alleviated. Personalized academic advisement is at the center of the delivery model, and investment in these programs have provided meaningful staffing infrastructure and produced viable student success approaches that are driving professional advisement reforms system-wide. Due to the continuous support of the city, new support from the state this fiscal year, and modest private funds, we've been able to grow ACE to support over 4,400 students this academic year including the launch of new ACE programs at Hunter and Brooklyn College. Experts agree that ASAP and ACE are sound long-term investments. As noted in previous testimony, the return on investment is high. For every $1 invested by taxpayers in ASAP, $3.50 is returned in increased tax revenue and reduced social service costs. A recent report from Columbia University's Center on Poverty and Social Policy examined the long-term benefits and costs from participation in ACE, estimating the net social benefits of nearly $43,000 per CUNY ACE participant, primarily driven by greater lifetime earnings. The report also noted intergenerational benefits for children of ACE participants who grew up in higher earning families because of the program, and bringing the total net social benefits to over $125,000 per participant. There remains enormous potential to continuously invest in ACE CUNY-wide, as this program model exemplifies the transformational impact that such comprehensive and personalized approaches can have on both individual students' graduation outcomes and tangible shifts in college's completion culture. To further elaborate on the institutional perspective, I'm happy to turn testimony over to John Jay College of Criminal Justice's Provost, Allison Peace.
Thank you. And before you begin your testimony, I just want to know we've been joined by Councilmember Gail Brewer, and on Zoom we have Councilmember Oswald Felice.
Good afternoon, Chairperson Dinowitz, Councilwoman Brewer, and all members of the City Council Higher Education Committee. I'm Allison Pease, Provost and Senior Vice President of Academic Affairs at John Jay College of Criminal Justice, the alma mater and current college of many of your constituents. I want to provide a brief description of John Jay, which is celebrating its 60th anniversary, share how we have significantly increased graduation rates over the last 10 years, and then highlight a few of the interventions that have helped more students graduate. Located on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, John Jay is a national leader in criminal justice, forensic science, and forensic psychology, and our mission is centered around justice. We enroll 14,000 undergraduate, master's, and doctoral students in 36 bachelor's programs, 13 master's programs, and 3 doctoral programs. John Jay graduates are first responders, public safety officials, elected officials, agency leaders in the public sector, and in the private sector, they excel in law, finance, healthcare, media, and tech. Our undergraduate population is 15% Asian, 25% Black, 42% Hispanic, and 18% white. 65% of our students are Pell recipients, 72% receive Pell and TAP, and 50% are the first in their families to attend college. According to the Law School Admissions Council, John Jay ranks 5th in the United States for sending Black applicants to law school, and 13th in the United States for sending Hispanic applicants to law school. It is among the top 10 among American universities in student social mobility, according to the pioneering research led by Professor of Economics Raj Chetty of Harvard. And this year, John Jay was ranked number 3 in top performers on social mobility in the North, according to the U.S. News and World Report. In 2017, when President Carol Mason arrived at John Jay College, the 4-year graduation rate was 26%, and the 6-year graduation rate was 44%. She galvanized the college leadership to develop a vision for student success as the college's top priority. I am proud to say that in the 8 years that have followed, our graduation rates have climbed significantly. We increased our 4-year graduation rate 14 percentage points to 40%. Our 6-year graduation rate increased 12 percentage points to reach 56%, though it did fall last year to 53%, reflecting the loss of momentum that students experienced during the COVID-19 pandemic. Our 4-year transfer graduation rate is 67%, the second highest in New York State. The National Center for Education Statistics IPED's Comparison Group Report of 2024 shows that at John Jay, Black students graduate at 11 percentage points and Hispanic students at 7 percentage points above national peer institutions. We have been dogged and intentional about ensuring that we support increasing numbers of students to graduate and to graduate more quickly so that they can earn more money over their lifetimes. To fund these efforts, we've worked with philanthropy to pilot programs to test what works. Annually, we raise between $6 to $8 million a year. We are incredibly grateful to the City Council and New York City, which funds our 2 cohort programs with the highest graduation rates, Apple Core and ACE. There are 5 key practices and programs that have demonstrably contributed to student success, and I'm just going to briefly run through those. The first is our completion of Upper Division Students Program, CUSP. Counterintuitively, we discovered that students with 90+ credits were failing to graduate. We worked with DataKind, who used machine learning to identify students at risk of dropping out. Now we can focus on those students who most need support and help them cross the finish line. CUSP, supported by the Gray Foundation and the Price Foundation, increased senior student graduation rates from 54% to 86% in its first year. Between 2019 and 2024, John Jay graduated 3,038 more students than predicted. That's about 500 additional students a year. CUSP was featured in a New York Times article. ACE, Accelerate, Complete, Engage. ACE has been well described already. I would simply add that a 2023 study found 4-year graduation rates among ACE students at John Jay were 16 percentage points higher than among the comparison group. Apple Core. Apple Core is a partnership with the NYPD that serves a cohort of 100 students per year who receive annual stipends, travel support, academic and career advising, while they explore public service, leadership, justice, and equity issues in policing and community relations in New York City. The 4-year graduation rate of Apple Core students in 2023 was, dramatic pause, 70%. That's 30 percentage points higher than the college average. Next, a promising practice. Winter and summer acceleration. Our acceleration program helps first and second year students who are not on track to graduate in 4 years earn credits during summer or winter to increase their academic momentum and get back on track. We started this for STEM students about 6 years ago and then broadened the program during the pandemic to freshmen and sophomores. The program reversed a downward trend in first year retention from 75.8% in 2021, the nadir of the pandemic, to 80.9% in 2022. The program reaches out proactively to invite at-risk students for tuition-free courses and provide time management workshops and tutoring. In the 3 years that we've run this intervention for freshmen and sophomores, we've seen that if a first-year student receives acceleration support, their 4-year graduation rate rises to 51%. If a second-year student receives acceleration support, their 4-year graduation rate rises to 61%. This is a promising practice, particularly in that it only costs about $1,000 a student. We are actively fundraising to support this work. My last intervention, CUNY Justice Academy. The CUNY Justice Academy is a dual admission program with CUNY's 7 community colleges. The program has proven to increase the numbers of students completing their associate degrees at their college of origin and then providing a shortened time to graduation once at John Jay. This program was the subject of an NYU Research Alliance study in which they found, quote, John Jay College of Criminal Justice holds the distinction of being the CUNY college that graduates the highest percentage of transfer students of color, 43% compared to just 29% in the rest of the city, as well as the school that serves the highest proportion of students of color. Both facts underscore the value of how John Jay supports its transfer students through policies, teaching practices, and program culture. That concludes my testimony. I'm sincerely grateful, not just for your interest in this work, but for your support of ACE and Apple Core, each of which has changed not just individual lives, but the lives of those students' families and their communities, and therefore New York City. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My favorite thing, of course, about working in government is all the acronyms that we have to learn. We heard from John Jay specifically, but what are the year-by-year graduation rates at CUNY for students in associate degree and bachelor degree programs?
I think I can speak to that. By year, do you
2-year
mean
graduation
the
rates,
2-year
3,
graduation rate?
4,
Yep. So
associates, bachelors.
for our bachelor students from the most recent cohort, well, we can refer to the same group that we're reporting on for the 6-year graduation rates. That's the cohort that entered in 2018. Their 4-year graduation rate was 35.3%. Their 5-year graduation rate was 52.4%, and their 6-year graduation rate was 57.9%. So there's quite a large jump between the 4th year and the 5th year, and a smaller increase between 5th year and 6th year. For associate degree students, again, we can start with the cohort that we report on for the Mayor's Management Report. That's the group that entered college as freshmen in 2018. The 2-year graduation rate was 11.8%. The 3-year graduation rate was 24.9%. So again, quite a large jump between 2-year and 3-year. The 4-year was only slightly higher at 30.4%, the 5-year at 31.4%, and the 6-year at 36.5%. So again, the biggest jump is between the 2nd year and the 3rd year. So the 100% completion, what we call the 150% completion time.
Say that again about 100%.
The 100%, so in federal reporting, we call the 2-year graduation
Okay.
rate, sort of the, as you described, the 2-year for associate degrees as the 100% graduation
That's
rate.
your 11.8%.
Yes, and then the 150% rate is sort of the standard in most national federal reporting. So that's 50% more for. So that's the 3-year graduation rate for associate students.
I do want to note in
Yep.
relation to the testimony you gave that the graduation rates have remained relatively steady throughout before, during, and after COVID. And I do also want to point out that there were a lot of accommodations made, and we know there were a lot of discussions made about not just shifting to online, but the efforts made to ensure students passed their classes, and there was a lot of work done there. So I don't want to elide over the impact of COVID, but it was, in terms of graduation rate, it seems based on the data and based on the experience of students, it seems sort of minimally impacted, at least the graduation rates, not to speak of all the other impacts it had. So we know many CUNY students are non-traditional students who've stopped out of college for a term or have started college at a later age. So how much has this pattern affected CUNY graduation rates?
So it's true that CUNY serves a wide variety of students coming in at many different points, at many different entry points to their college career. Could I speak to the trends we discussed and sort of the impact on graduation rates?
sure.
So it's true that it's not so easy to say there's a single year in which we see a change related to COVID, but I think one thing that's really important to keep in mind is the lag we see in graduation rates. So the students we're now reporting on, as I mentioned, our 2018 cohort, these are people who were sophomores in college, but the cohort that comes after them, they were freshmen in college. The cohort that comes after them, they were seniors in high school at the point at which the pandemic has hit them. So the pandemic wasn't, for our populations of students, a one-time event. It was a disruption that occurred at many different points in their academic careers. So for many of them, they either experienced disruptions in high school or in a critical point in their early college. And those are times that we can't necessarily correct or go back to prepare for. And if we look at a longer time trend, going into the pandemic, there was a very clear uptick in CUNY's both bachelor's and associate graduation rates. So just looking at our associate students, back in 2010, the 3-year graduation rate was 13.6%. Going up to our 2017 cohort, it had climbed to 25.1% for our 3-year graduation rates. It was on track to double. So there really were.
Sorry, you said your 2-year graduation rate.
These are 3-year graduation rates.
Your 3-year graduation rate in 2010 was 13.6%.
That's for the cohort that entered in 2010. So we'd report that in 2013. It was
Okay,
13.6%. And then it.
And the cohort that entered in 2017
was
25.1, and the cohort that entered in 2018 was 24.9.
24.9, yes, exactly. So there was, right before the pandemic hit, so the 2017, that's a cohort that got to experience all of their high school and almost all of college without the disruptions of the pandemic. And we have a sort of clear 10-year period going into that of steady increases in the graduation rate. And that's part of the reason that we say we really do see a decline and sort of a change in the longer term trend we had going into the pandemic, and then the sort of trends coming out of the pandemic. And every year that we get further away from the height of the 2020-21 disruptions, we do see improvements, increases in our persistence into a second year of college and third year of college.
I want to note we've been joined by Councilmember Chris Marte for the hearing.
Welcome.
I don't want to argue about, rather discuss COVID, but I just want to say as a data point, there were impacts, but I also know that CUNY testified last month that there are really no issues with things like literacy, that they're just getting better and better and better, and that there are no issues there. We've also had hearings where we are increasing the number of things that you've testified are helpful in graduation rates, in CUNY courses in high school, college now. So those things have helped increase as well. So there are other factors besides COVID, things that should be really increasing or improving the graduation rates. To me, the numbers aren't great. And how do your numbers, with all the COVID stuff, all the things you said before, like national graduation rates, like wouldn't they be affected by everything that you mentioned?
Yeah.
National graduation rates affected by the trend among college students, especially in community colleges.
Yeah, I think the rates that are most comparable that we get from the federal government, some of those have an even longer lag than our time does, so we haven't fully seen the rates coming out that are affected by COVID, but all indications so far is that we do expect declines in national completion rates.
But CUNY is still sort of, I guess, below the national average when it comes to graduation rates, right?
Yes.
And so I'm hearing, we'll get to some of the great things, John Jay, and about ASAP, because I do want to discuss that. But what are you attributing that to? Because, again, if you're testifying last month, the literacy rates are great. We're doing a lot more of the college courses in high school. What are you attributing that to, the lower graduation rates?
So the graduation rates being lower than the overall public four-year colleges, that is true, but it's important to remember that those overall graduation rates include many highly selective residential colleges with much higher tuition price tags and a much more selective population.
But even among the community, right, like that's what I'm saying, like even among the community colleges, the rates are lower, right?
They're slightly lower, but if we look only at community colleges also in other large cities, they're very similar to CUNY's.
How similar?
I think within 2 percentage points.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's why it's a concern. I mean, it's a concern because we want our students to graduate. And I think you probably testified one of the other reasons it's a concern, not just because it's morally the right thing, but there's a fiscal responsibility we have as stewards of the government, right? We vote on budgets and we invest money, we expect a return on it. And it's one of the reasons we fight so hard for ASAP and ACE funding, because we know that dollar that goes in is a savings to the taxpayer of $3.50, not to mention, I think, $15 to the student themselves. Did I get that right?
Remember that.
Okay, yes. But then the inverse would be true, right? Right? And meaning we're investing this money, but when the graduation rates are low, that's sort of a waste to the taxpayer. So, I mean, don't we have a responsibility? Like, what would your response be to a taxpayer who's concerned that they're investing in CUNY, but not getting the return on investment that we deserve? All the tough ones are for you. I'm so sorry.
I could start, though I'd invite others. So
Yeah.
I think it's also really important to remember that CUNY, along with many other public institutions, and especially our community colleges, have this historic commitment to being open access institutions. We will enroll at our community colleges any student who has the equivalent of a high school credential without any selective admissions, requirements about previous grades, letters of recommendation, all of the things that more selective and elite colleges use to ensure that they have a population they can guarantee will graduate. We could raise graduation rates tomorrow by implementing more selective admissions criteria. But that's not our mission. Our mission is to balance both the success of students with incredibly broad access for students. And there is an inherent trade-off between the access, the fact that we're willing to serve any student, and then open to any student, willingly encouraging enrollment, regardless of their previous level of academic preparation or the other kind of life circumstances or challenges that those students might be juggling with college. And the effect is that kind of broad access means it's harder to guarantee that all of those students will graduate. They're coming with many, many things.
So has CUNY research calculated the loss to its institution, to the taxpayer, for each student that goes in and doesn't graduate? Like that, those are sunk costs, right? Has CUNY calculated the loss to the taxpayer and the loss to its institution?
I'm not aware of a direct loss, a version of that calculation. I am aware of some research that suggests even any completion of college credits has some long-term benefits and payoff in the job market. So while the largest benefits come from students completing degrees, research from the Community College Research Center suggests that even a couple of courses in college are helpful in students' long-term career trajectories. So it's not so clear that it's necessarily a loss or sunk cost. There is some return to all levels of college experience.
I mean, is the return a net positive or net negative?
I'd have to look into that more.
Right. I mean that's and that's like a fundamental question we have. Like we pass a budget every year, and we fight for the dollars for CUNY, particularly for the ASAP and ACE programs, because we know they work. But we want to know that we're investing in good programs, right? And CUNY overall, again, is great for not just me and my family, which I think everyone in my family, but also so many of my students. Like it was life changing for so many people, and yet there's still, what did you say, the 2017 cohort, the 3-year graduate, 74.9% of people just aren't graduating in 3 years, and that's more and more money we're putting in. That it just sounds like different approaches need to be made to ensure that we're doing right by the students and that we're doing right by the taxpayer. What does it mean to be a part-time student at each campus? Is there a minimum course requirement or credits per semester or year?
It's
That's anyway.
12 credits per semester is considered full-time enrollment. So students who fall under the 12 credit threshold are considered part-time students.
Did I do it wrong when I was in college? I did 16 per semester. Or
No,
20.
you did it right.
That's
I actually did more. I graduated with too many credits. It was embarrassing. So anything under that is part-time?
Yes.
So they could take a 1-credit band course and they're a part-time student?
Yes.
Okay. What percentage of CUNY students are part-time students, and how many of those students enter the programs intending to be part-time students as opposed to dropping down to part-time status?
So in terms of a program perspective on this, we conduct a funnel analysis year to year in the fall. So for fall 24, our kind of widest pool of potential eligibility was about 18,000 students. And then we kind of funnel down due to residency requirements and filing for need-based aid, and then part-time enrollment status is kind of at the narrow end of the funnel. And we lose about 3,500 students due to that narrowing of the funnel. So that is one of the more restrictive aspects of a program like ASAP. It does require full-time enrollment and continuously.
Well, for ASAP, but just what percentage of CUNY students over? Because I do want to get to ASAP in a second.
Oh, sure.
But overall, what percentage are part-time students versus full-time students?
So the percentages vary quite a lot campus to campus. Their part-time enrollment's much more common at the community colleges than the senior colleges. The first-time freshman cohort, sort of across the system, 90% of freshmen start as full-time students. As you say, many of them do become part-time at some point in their careers. That tends to be as they've gone further and accumulated more credits. We sometimes see students dropping to lower credit accumulation levels as they may be taking on more work or balancing more demanding course schedules.
And so they drop down to part-time status?
That sometimes happens, yes.
But to what degree does that happen? Where students are so overwhelmed by the work and the course schedule that they drop down to part-time status?
Again, it's not only that they're so overwhelmed, but they may be doing things like taking on paid internships or other types of work, and there's some variation from campus to campus. There's not a sort of clean point in time in which we see a sort of direct drop-off. But we know that many of the current students who are currently part-time were at some point earlier full-time.
But you don't have that percentage of students who've funneled down. Is that what your phraseology was?
Yeah, we don't track that as a funnel in a sort of term-by-term basis. We could probably develop that for you.
And your internship programs, the paid internships, are not credit bearing?
Some of them are. But students have lots of different ways of accessing job experience, some of which, the minority of which is through credit-bearing experiences. Much more common is students taking on various types of work, and that being part of what they're balancing, especially as they're getting closer to the completion of their degrees.
But wouldn't CUNY, I don't know, isn't CUNY incentivized to provide credits or make internships credit bearing? I mean, what are some of the roadblocks to these internships providing credits so students can stay on track to graduate?
CUNY is very interested in supply and connecting students to paid internships. There are certain requirements about sort of a type of work and the educational components it has to have for it to be credit bearing, and there's sort of quite a process, and not all work that students are going to engage in are going to fit within those kind of criteria. But it is a goal we have over the next 5 to 10 years to increase offerings in paid internships that are also connected to credit.
Yeah, I mean, 2 months ago, I feel like this is
Yeah.
as the last hearing. I feel like we're doing a retrospective. You know, those flashback episodes. So let's go back 2 months ago to the hearing on the CUNY Cultural Core, where it was testified. I think 90 something. Someone's going to give me the number. 92, 98% of internship applicants were rejected because CUNY just wasn't offering enough of these slots. And I would imagine that if it's a CUNY Cultural Core, CUNY program, that it's also credit bearing. And so it just seems that as of now, at least in that one area that was testified to, the investments are not being made. And so what does that increased investment in internships and credit bearing internships look like for students?
Sorry, I don't have the details about that specific program. I'm not sure if anyone else can speak to other aspects.
Okay, I think what we'll do, I think you're going to get some sort of answer soon. Are you testifying?
I'll testify for a second.
Okay, then I got to swear you in. Have you ever been sworn in before?
You swore me before.
I did, lucky
Only
me.
by you.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but truth, so help you God?
I do, sir.
Wait, let me get the actual text lest we get. Okay, where's the actual? Yeah, well, I don't have it. I just want to read the affirmation. Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this committee, and to respond honestly to council members' questions?
I do, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So,
And
quick,
state your name for the record.
Jeff Rodas, Vice Chancellor of Government Affairs for CUNY.
Thank you.
Honestly, I don't have the exact answer you want, but I will say this about internships. You have to be careful with internships because it's very important that they're paid. If you do credit only, people will not pay our students. And that's one of the key things about our internships. We demand they be paid. So understand that that's why credit bearing depends on the course, depends on what they're doing, and so on and so forth. But it's important for it to be a paid internship. So we're very careful about that because I get calls all the time from everybody wanting to have CUNY students and get them credit. And I'm like, no, you got to pay them. So
Yeah.
just wanted to make that comment.
And just to be
For the
clear, I agree
record.
with you 100%. The example I'm giving of the CUNY Culture Core includes paid internships.
Right.
And it seems to me here's a very tangible solution to at least this part of the problem that we've identified, or that you've identified really, which is students taking a smaller course load so that they can get internships. It seems to me that if more work was done to ensure that they are not only paid, but credit bearing, at least for that section, we can increase graduation rates at CUNY, which is our shared goal.
Not for nothing, I'm not going to name colleagues of yours that approached me about helping on campaigns and getting credit for it. It doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? So yes, you're right, but there's only certain things you can get credit for, right? And that's up to the academics, the professors. So it's I don't disagree with you. CUNY Kirkland Court, remember, that was cut a couple of years ago. So when it was cut by the city and then restored, it's wonderful. At the same time, it really ruined the program, and it hurt a lot of students that were getting those internships and getting those credits, and all of a sudden they didn't have it anymore because someone decided to cut it at City Hall. So anyway,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Thank you
Always-
for your time.
always
This
a
is
pleasure.
going out with a bang, Vice Chancellor Rodas. Thank you.
Why not?
Yeah, just specific to the Culture Corps, that was a funding from the city, from other side of City Hall, that was kept flat, which resulted in, I guess, with inflation, is worth less over the years, and it's been flat for many years. But this is, again, Culture Corps doesn't just have to be funded by the city. There were private philanthropies, CUNY itself putting money into it, and again, is it reasonable to say that if CUNY if you've identified this problem of students taking fewer courses to do internships, therefore they're graduating later, if CUNY invested time to make sure the professors and deans, whatever, ensured that more of these internships were credit bearing, and money to make sure that any credit bearing internships were paid, that we could help close the gap for that section of students. That was a long way of saying.
Sounds like a good idea. Yes.
Sounds
so
like a good
I
idea.
would say,
Yes.
yes.
So-
And the issue is it isn't only students having lower credit loads to take on internships. Internships are part of it. Work is part of it. I wanted to simply make the point that most students start college full-time, and that those who are part-time is often a single semester or something, or a way that they're changing their intensity over a period of time for a variety of reasons, which can include internships, working for pay, as well as other sort of personal responsibilities, ways of wanting to balance their workloads in college. But in general, we really think the idea of paid internships is very promising. We're pursuing it very directly. We think this could be good.
Yeah, on the council end, it's the question we have on the council end is the increase in funding to help support the paid internships. The question on the CUNY end is, one, the data. Of course, it's very hard. You're sort of identified, I don't know if it was an anecdote or just in broad strokes, that there are students who drop courses to take internships, therefore they're graduating later. That's sort of like a hypothesis, which you could prove with data. But also, again, ensuring that the paid internships that you've identified don't all get paid, don't all get credits, do get credits. But I noticed that you have dissension. There's dissension in the ranks.
Well, I have a different experience, right? So I'm at a
That is the best way to phrase.
I'm at a four-year college. I don't know the aspects of the experience at community colleges, but I am concerned hearing you talk about part-time and going slower, taking fewer credits, because
Just to be clear, that was what was testified, that there are students who do that in order to take an internship. So those were the students
Right.
that I was identifying and trying and discussing the ways here at the hearing
right.
to ensure they get the credits they deserve that they're working towards and then graduate on time.
Okay.
To clarify that, but please continue.
Well, thanks. I think one of the dimensions of the student experience that we haven't discussed here is the socioeconomic pressures that are on students, right? And one of the reasons why I made clear the Pell and TAP stats of John Jay students is to demonstrate that 3/4 of our students are in a state of financial precarity. That means that they are also working, right? So in addition to taking these grants, the large proportion of our students work more than 20 hours a week, right? And that is in direct conflict with what they are trying to do, which is earn a degree, right? It's why they start as full-time students and then eventually end as full-time workers, often going in their last few years at part-time. And they also tend to run out of aid by that point, which is why they need to be working, right? So one of the main drags on CUNY graduation rates, and certainly four-year student graduation rates at the senior colleges, is that economic piece. It's why a program like ASAP and ACE are so successful, because they pay students a stipend to be in college so that the student doesn't have to work, right? It's why AppleCore does the same thing. Anytime that you can pay a student so that they can remain a full-time student focused on their studies and have a smaller part-time job, 15 hours or fewer a week, you are more likely to see them graduate. And we see that in every program we've ever run.
So why don't we just call that college? Why, like if the ASAP program's so successful, why doesn't that just be college?
Yes, yes, I love this question. Well, precisely, and I think the university is moving in that direction in terms of the ability to extrapolate the most promising practices of the model. There are aspects that are fiduciary, they're an alleviation of the out-of-pocket costs, but I think the most prominent feature of the program's success is the advisement approach. Really, again, that intrusive, intensive, individualized, real-time support. It does require this mutuality of engagement. So I think that is the part of ASAP that is often, lifted up as the most signature aspect and attribute. But again, it does require a student to fully commit to that engagement, which takes time, and maybe time that they don't have because of other draws on their time, such as family responsibilities or employment.
So I'm going to get back to ASAP in a second, but what would a good graduation rate be for the 2-year colleges and 4-year colleges?
I'm reluctant to describe this as definitively a good
Or
graduation.
what is
right,
CUNY's
but
goal?
CUNY has committed to raising graduation rates for both associate and bachelor students by 5 percentage points by 2030 as part of our CUNY Lifting New York strategic plan.
By 5 percentage points?
Yes.
So you'd go from 11.8 to 16.8? Your 2-year graduation
No, those are goals for 3-year graduation rates for community colleges and 6-year graduation rates for senior colleges.
So your ultimate...
To go from 27% was the baseline when this report was when the CUNY Lifting New York was released, to take that to 32% for associate graduation rates, and for senior colleges to go from 55% to 60%.
And CUNY views that as...
Progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But so you're saying by
2030.
By 2030.
Yes.
So it's what, 2025? So your goal is for each year to go up 1 percentage point?
Yes.
And what led you to that particular number?
This was a combination of what was sort of realistic, building off of the trends in the past. What we, as I mentioned, going into the pandemic, CUNY was at the bachelor's level pretty consistently raising graduation rates by 1 point per year. So we know that's something we can achieve. And then sort of recognizing that we had a lower rate from the pandemic and that we wanted to be cautious about how much change was possible given how much rebuilding had to be done.
Okay, and do you have 2-year and 4-year graduation goals?
We don't have publicly stated 2-year and 4-year graduation rate goals as part of this strategic plan that I'm aware of.
You were trained in answering questions, weren't you? Did a good job, Jeff. It wasn't you. Well, I would just say and this goes back to ASAP, and it's good that the goals are increasing, but I would say it seems that 32% and 60% still seems rather low for students graduating in more time than is described in the title of the institution, which is 2 and 4 year. So ASAP, what are some of the ways that you're looking to expand these programs more broadly across to all the campuses?
So ASAP is currently considered at scale, or
I'm sorry, not at all the campuses, for more students.
just to increase
Yes.
the overall enrollment rate.
Yeah.
So year to year, we have been, regaining our enrollment health. As was stated in the testimony, we still have the potential for much greater enrollment, and we feel very confident that we're going to get there. We've increasingly incorporated a vertical transfer support aspect of the model. We understand that many of our incoming associate degree seeking students have every goal to transfer within the system and attain their bachelor's degree. So I think part of our work is to ensure that students on their way in the door of our community colleges understand that the model is going to support them to both attain their associate degree in a timely manner and also seamlessly transfer to pursue their longer term goals. So I think that kind of shift in the programmatic support model, the advisement model, is very helpful in terms of maximizing enrollment for our entering community college students.
So it's time for another flashback to the time when we did a hearing on ACE and ASAP, or ASAP rather. And it was testified that you are repeatedly hitting your goals in terms of graduation rates among your ASAP cohort. But then when it was asked, are you increasing your goal, the answer then was no. Have you since decided to increase or to improve the goals so that more students graduate on time, to set your sights higher for our students so they graduate on time?
And the goal meaning the 50%
I think
three-year
it was
graduation
50%.
rate.
It was 50% since the inception of the program.
And we have experienced a dip since then. And so we are kind of clawing our way back towards that 50% and always maintaining the same basic metrics and benchmarks with regard to retention and credit accumulation that all rolls up to that 50% within 3 years. I think we've, again, increasingly looked at other metrics to gauge the success of the program, such as transfer rates, ensuring that there is a seamless transfer from associate to bachelor's track, again, maximizing that use of need-based aid, ensuring students, maintain that academic momentum, and ideally they will land into an ACE structure at their senior college so that there is an accelerated 2-year completion pathway for their bachelor's degree.
Okay. And the provost stole some of your thunder, but there were some other programs mentioned. CUSP, was it CUSP? And was it Apple? So I'm just, Apple Core
acronyms.
and Winter at Summer Acceleration. And it seems like you're sort of incubating methods or programs to increase graduation rates. To what degree are you turnkeying these, or to what degree are you working with CUNY Central to ensure other campuses are utilizing similar models to perhaps get more than 1 percentage point increase in graduation rates per year?
Yeah, I actually think that CUNY Central is now working with DataKind as well, and the other colleges are going to adapt their own models of CUSP. DataKind has a grant from Google to do this work, and so they are prepared to try and open up these programs throughout the other colleges.
So given that, and so you testified that you saw, I think your winter and summer acceleration saw a significant jump.
Yeah.
In it's 5.1%, which is more than 5. In retention, first year retention, for example, for STEM students, you testified about 70% 4-year college graduation rates. You increased senior graduation rates by 32%. I mean, some of the numbers you testified to seem significantly higher than what CUNY's overall goal is. So to what degree? So you said Google and which campus, or CUNY Central is using?
So DataKind, which is a not-for-profit data crunching group, received money to do this work with CUNY colleges and SUNY colleges.
So, I mean, given the results that you testified to at John Jay, wouldn't CUNY expect to see similar results, at least across its 4-year schools?
Yes, they should.
Yeah. I'm not aware of sort of the timeline of the full rollout of
Right, me
making
neither.
that effort available and when we would exactly be seeing any impacts from it.
Right.
Well, if it's within 5 years, it'd be more than 5%. I would think.
Yes, it's something we keep coming back to, though, is sort of the lag in how we report on graduation rates. So if we begin working with freshmen this year, it's 6 years until we see a benefit in their graduation rate.
But but even one of the programs, they started working with second-year students, right? And as you testified, it's people come into their first year full time, and maybe it's by the third year
Yeah.
they start going part time. So there is work to do with the third year and fourth year students. I mean, I'm specifically obviously talking about 4-year colleges, but that you're going to see results if the investments are made. It just seems to me that for a school that, for a system that testifies that they have a lot of great programs, they're getting some of this private funding. There's no lag in literacy rates or in literacy. That the goals should be set a little higher. I mean, it sounds like you have good models to work from. That you have the ACE and ASAP, you have the Apple, the CUSP, working with DataKind. That the goals should just be higher. Like we should be setting the standard for community colleges and 4-year colleges across the nation, not a lagging behind or even on par with them.
I think we'd certainly like to make better than the 5 percentage point progress. I do want to clarify, though, that CUNY has made progress in the on-time graduation rate, and that, again, sort of going into the pandemic, the 4-year graduation rate had increased like 13 percentage points from the 2010 cohort to our 2017 cohort. So we had, again, prior to the pandemic, starting in 2017, had begun investing in a university-wide academic momentum campaign that encouraged students to take heavier credit loads, that encouraged credit taking throughout the entire academic year, that also came with institutional policy changes to make it easier for students to take credit-bearing courses by changing our remediation structures. We did see benefits for that. So we have made progress in the 4-year graduation rates, really considerable progress, again, going into the pandemic, that have just declined a little bit since then. But we're in a much better place with those 4-year graduation rates than we were even 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, but on the flip side, all those kids who went to UPK are going to have better academics and social emotional health. I guess starting in 2014-15, you're going to see the dividends from that in a few years too. So
Well, that'd be great.
I believe that. Another flashback. This is the flashback episode of Friends. 90s sitcom. At the hearing on removing small financial barriers for CUNY students in April, students testified that not being able to pay fees sometimes meant they didn't register for classes on time, and spots for the required classes filled up before they could register. This must impact their ability to graduate. How many students report they cannot graduate because of late registration for required classes?
I'm sorry, I don't have that number to hand. We can look into that for you.
Yeah, and has CUNY considered forgiving some of the smaller fees that prevent students from enrolling in classes, thus they fill up?
I believe so. I don't know if there's any college level perspectives on that.
We can't afford to. Right, bottom line. We did try that for a while, but I mean, our budget won't balance if we actually do that. So we've raised funds, we call them student emergency funds, and we do pay sort of last minute release of bars, et cetera, holds.
And I'll add the very generous $4.5 million ASAP for all funding for last year. We had been able to repurpose to provide some of this balance relief for our ASAP students, which has proved to be quite beneficial in terms of ensuring that they do have a seamless retention, say spring to fall this year.
Yeah, and you help them with the books. You purchase the books in the first place, and the getting school.
Yes,
Yeah,
the financial supports are the tuition and fee gap scholarship for students, though many of them are in receipt of need-based Pell TAP. Summer, winter is also on top of, so we ensure, as a strategy that, intercession of the full academic year is utilized. Again, I really want to underpin the value of this stipending or investment in students as they pursue particularly summer coursework, because it is low cost, and we've seen within ACE in particular that there is a really high retention then moving from summer to fall with regard to that robust summer experience. And then textbook stipends, and of course, Omni cards. That is the crown jewel of the financial resources.
yeah. I can tell just by your testimony you really love the program. You're like
We all
very
love the
excited.
We love the program. Program's great.
Should have it ASAP for everyone. So I want to go back to sort of the just that financial, to stick with the financial impact rather. What is the financial impact for a student enrolled in more semesters than expected in trying to graduate? And are there recurring costs each semester added on that they wouldn't have if they completed more credits each semester? like a technology fee, for example?
So that's a great question. So first of all, I'll say federal financial aid covers the equivalent of 6 years of full-time enrollment, and our state TAP is 4 years of full-time enrollment. Again, that's full-time enrollment. So if students take a semester out or take lower credit loads, that doesn't count towards their full lifetime. So federal Pell funds will fund the entire sort of, if we're concerned about a 6-year trajectory. The larger concerns that we have are the fact that, as Provost Peace alluded to, students aren't in the job market earning. Like by far the greatest cost is the opportunity cost of not having a degree to bring to the labor market. So we are very concerned with those costs. Of course, there's incidental fees that build up for students. The larger concern is that there's the ability for life to get in the way, for more things to happen the longer students spend in college. So I don't want to give the impression that we're not deeply concerned with increasing academic momentum and increasing the rates at which students accumulate credits and graduate more quickly. We also recognize that many challenges to doing that students experience for a variety of reasons in their lives.
Yeah. I would say on a personal note, because I did grad school, I started when I was like 21 and I was teaching, that the idea of like going, because I was working full time and going to school and I didn't need to sleep, the idea of going back to grad school full time and working full time, I'm just like tired.
Yeah.
Remember, 50 under 50, not 40 under 40, not 40 under 40 anymore. But I think that, what's that?
Twin boys will do that.
I have twin boys who are 10. They will certainly, they tire me out. I joke, I say I'm 25 and I look like this because of my twin boys. But I think you're right. Those opportunity costs, as you extend it out, it's an impact to the student, but also, again, as I mentioned earlier, to the taxpayer. That's fewer years there working in the market. For the same reasons ASAP's such a good program, savings for the student and for the taxpayer. That's why these long delays in graduation are bad for the student and bad for the taxpayer. So I'm interested to know what I know you didn't want to use the word good, but what your opinion is of the graduation rates, right? That's like a little different question. Like, how do you feel about the numbers that you're testifying to today?
I can tell you.
Yeah.
I am, on the one hand, enormously proud of the work we've done at John Jay to get to where we are, and completely unsatisfied. It is not okay that basically 1 out of every 2 students who starts at John Jay doesn't finish there. It's not okay.
I appreciate that answer. I do. And, that's why we're here, to have open, honest conversations about what's going on and to help.
Frustrated by it.
Yeah. I mean, I want the to be 100%. Is that, I'm going to say it's too much to ask, but it's probably too much to ask. So if you can, I don't expect it today, if you can share with the committee at a later date. By the way, I do want to say another public important thank you to Vice Chancellor Jeff Rodas for his incredible work and for testifying today. I mean, you three are great, but he really swooped in, gave great testimony.
And it can get me in trouble because I'm leaving early. Now everyone knows. Everyone knows.
No, what they know is you are so important. He said, just for the record, if you can't hear him, he said, I'm getting him in trouble because he's leaving early. And what it actually is, he has so many important things to tend to make sure CUNY runs smoothly and that his transition out is smooth.
Be my PR guy in my next honestly, what are they going to do to me anyway at this point? So I'm not that worried. But thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And so if you can provide for the committee the breakdown of graduation rates by race, ethnicity, gender, income, age, other demographic characteristics, and disability status, if you're still tracking that. What do CUNY advisors, ASAP or otherwise, tell entering freshmen about graduating in 2 years or 4 years, depending on the degree they're seeking? And what percentage of entering freshmen expect to graduate on a traditional timeline? Are they expected to even graduate on a traditional timeline?
We just surveyed our first semester freshmen that very question.
Wow.
Right? Do
okay.
you expect to graduate in 4 years? 80% said yes. I'm struck by the lack of confidence. 1 out of 5 does not expect to graduate in 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think similarly, the advisement practice, particularly within a program like ASAP and ACE, very, very careful work is done to ensure a student understands what the sequencing looks like, what the prerequisites look like. If they are to get off track in one key gateway course, how do they correct course? So I think there is like a very tactical aspect of this too. There's an aspirational aspect, but then again, the advisement practice is very deliberate with regard to ensuring students fully understand the courses they need to take and the sequence they need to take them for even the longer term goal of bachelor's completion.
But so CUNY's goal is the system-wide goal of 3-year graduation rates, let's say for the 2-year colleges. But let's say in ASAP or in your school, in your case, 4-year, like do your advisors go in and say, hey, your goal, despite
15 credits
despite
every
you're
semester.
the 1 in 5, you're the 1 in 5 who doesn't think they graduate in 4 years, but we're going to help program you for a 4-year course load. You're going to program you for a 2-year course load, even though your stated goal is 3 years, even though for ASAP and ACE is 6 years.
Yes, but I would say the 2-year rate is, again, every student does have an aspiration to complete in 2 years. We build the 3-year as that buffer. Again, we allow students to drop to part-time status within the program, inevitably because of some disruptions or what have you. But that 3-year is really as needed. So we do aspire for a 2-year completion.
Yeah, and do I mean, I guess you've testified, but how many like ASAP students come in and you say, we got the 2 years, they take their first semester and they're sweating the whole time and they're like, going forward, I'm going to try to spread out to 3 years, compared to students who do 2 years and they just like, they fail out, right? They fail courses and they have to retake courses. Like, do you have breakdowns of like the different scenarios students go through?
Yeah, I can't quantify that in terms of, say, fail versus withdraw. There's a multitude of scenarios with regard to those aspects.
It's relatively rare for students to consistently enroll for 15 credits every semester, though it is a goal. It is sort of a aspiration, but I believe and again, there's a substantial variation from campus to campus that tracks pretty well with selectivity of that campus. So our most selected campuses have much higher percentages of students registering for and completing 15 credits per term. It's much more common at the senior colleges than it is much more common at the senior colleges than it is at the community colleges. So we think some of that is students strategically balancing the course load that they feel academically prepared for.
Right. And then lastly, what is it? We kind of touched on this earlier, but what can help the city council? What help can the city council be in helping CUNY campuses improve graduation rates to 100% in 2-year or 4-year?
So I'm going to jump in for advocacy
That's what we're asking for.
with regard to ACE baseline funding. We've
Okay.
been operating year to year, and just this year, as mentioned in testimony, received $8 million from the state to level up our enrollment. There's so much more potential. We serve about 3% of the potential population. Again, many of our ASAP graduates, they would flow very nicely from an ASAP to ACE structure. Again, that's all very contributive to the larger 5-year associate degree completion metric goals that Sarah referenced. So ACE baseline and plus in terms of really being able to match scale of ASAP would certainly help boost completion rates system-wide.
And then for the broader CUNY community that, if for whatever reason, is not enrolled in ASAP or ACE.
Well, I concur, the more ACE, the better, because, the more of our students in that program, the more they graduate, right? So the higher their levels. if we had to save money, we just break down parts of ACE, and they tend to help us as well, right? So our acceleration program is basically the tuition for one course, which helps a student who failed. Students fail in their first year of college very frequently, and that's what gets them off track to graduate in 4 years. So we are basically making up for that by paying for a summer course for them. That's a big deal. The other is OmniCards. The travel, I don't know why, but that just seems to move the needle on students just not having to worry about how they get to college.
And so on the Omni benefit too, we know that to be the highest value, both in terms of drawing students to the program, but we are, because of the generous add-on funding from last year's City Council, experimenting with the ability for our ASAP graduates who graduate in under 3 years to port that Omni benefit with them as they seamlessly transfer to a bachelor's degree. So again, we're looking at ways to continue that benefit, and we imagine that an Omni benefit for all students would have great value in terms of incentivizing timely completion, or at least alleviating out-of-pocket costs that are a burden.
Unsurprisingly, I think 100% of the time, students have testified
This is what they say.
transportation costs
Yes.
have been a topic of their testimony.
Yes.
Anything else the City Council can do to help support improving graduation rates?
Well, so universal support for the Omni cards, and beyond that, I think we would be very pleased to prepare a more detailed request for you for the next budget cycle.
Please do. I want to thank you for your testimony today, for coming in and sharing, about the graduation rates and how, in my view, they're not where they need to be, and we need to set our sights a lot higher. And we are partners here in the City Council to make sure that our students are achieving everything they can, both to benefit themselves and, of course, our entire city at large. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.
As a reminder, if you wish to speak at today's hearing, please fill out a witness card with the Sergeant at Arms in the back. Wait to be recognized. I will now call the first panel, Jose Avila and Ryan Janowski. Sit, have a seat. And when you're ready, please turn on the microphone, state your name for the record, and you may begin your testimony.
Okay. Good afternoon, Chair, members of the committee, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jose Avila, and I'm a proud student of Pro Manhattan Community College. I'm here to express my strong support for continuing and expanding funding for BNCC. BNCC graduation rate tell us part of the full story, but there are more beyond the numbers. There is the qualitative impact that the opening or the mission have of many sons and daughters of the constituents of New York City. The community members, the council members are elected to with the mandate of the people to uplift communities, and when in spite of the background, in spite of the race, in spite of the religion, they are accepted of the NCC, and they have the opportunity to receive education, higher education, and live the transformative experience of higher education. That's something that impacts not only them, they impact the communities, the neighborhoods, the friends, and they make them an example to follow. So it's true. As a responsible of people who has to exercise the fiscal responsibility, you have to follow. We have to be careful what they are doing with the resources, what the institutions are doing with the resources. But as I say at the beginning, this is a number can define everything. There's always like an iceberg. Maybe you see the top of the iceberg, but you don't see what is under the water. And what is under the water is the chances that people have to improve themselves, that they even make possible that communities where they live, they can revive the economy, because as students, we buy metro cards, we buy food, we buy meals, we buy notebooks, and the money that we receive and we produce is here in New York City. It doesn't go away. So just to support what was discussed here, that is a concern of all of us to lift the rate of graduation. But we have to understand that there is a structural inequality here in New York City. And most of the students that are attending classes right now come from that inequality. So when we are subject of reduction of the budget, it's not about the performance of the institution or the performance of the student. It's about what is behind the structural inequality. Thank you.
Hello. I would like to preface everything. I'm a student. What? Oh, I'm so sorry. That's my first. My name is Ryan Janowski. I am a proud CUNY alum, graduating LaGuardia Community College and Hunter College in 2021. So I was part of the class that was transitioning over from COVID into online learning. I graduated. I graduated within the designated 2 years for my bachelor's, because I got my associates at LaGuardia. I would like to preface this. I am pursuing my master's right now for arts leadership and management. So this is an assignment to come and speak at a public comment. And I just couldn't think of a better, hearing to be at. But I've definitely, after graduating, worked. I worked in the Office of Undergraduate Advising at Hunter College as well. So I played a great role in student success, and I'm a firm believer in student success and CUNY's success rate as well, assisting the students to get on the right path for graduation. And I just believe that it's truly important. And CUNY has made great efforts to this student success rate. And I believe that, more funding should be, placed. So I thank you for your time as well.
First of all, most important question: where are you at grad school? CUNY? Are you at CUNY?
It's not a CUNY school right now, but it's Wichita State University. So all online right now.
Okay, should be a little sad that it's not a CUNY.
I know,
but we
I
welcome you
understand.
anyway.
I'm sorry.
Welcome
But
anyway.
CUNY's been a part of my life for the last 20 years. My aunt, she was the associate dean at Hunter College before she passed away. Last year. So it's definitely a CUNY's been part of my family for over 20 years. So
You're a CUNY guy through and through.
yes.
Jose, you spoke about inequality, and I'm interested, kind of leading into CUNY and addressing that. I'm just interested if you could speak a little bit more about what inequality looks like, or how inequality is experienced, and then how that impacts the college experience.
If I may, the community college don't make distinction and don't put filters for a student to enter, and this is important because they offer tremendous services for minorities groups, for people who are not traditional students, for low-income people. So this is the answer we are looking for, because we don't belong to privileged classes, okay? And we need that support, that guidance, and the chance to enter. Once we are into the higher education, we move in our own path, because we want to graduate in 2 years, but we are parents. We are dealing with at least 2 jobs to cope all our needs, to pay rent. On the other hand, we receive the support of the programs, and that's the reason, because I'm here to say that it works, that ASAP, ACE, out of in 2 works at BNCC. So there are the formulas. We know that education is a travel, and the result of all these politics are not going to be seen immediately. They take time. So when they talk about the 7 years, it's possible. It is possible to see that horizon and to produce the professionals the city needs, and at the same time to create this army of students or masters or others professionals that are going to give that responsible and are going to reduce that inequality. Because when we get more graduates, the unemployment reduce, they reduce the dependence of social aids, and at the same time, everybody wants to live in a city where young people is study. We don't want to live in a people where there is insecurity, where people is related to the judicial system in a bad way. No, we want workers for the judicial system. We don't want people to be prosecuted. So every money, every dollar that is investing in education is always producing a benefit, a return. Maybe sometimes tangible and sometimes it's not tangible, but it's there. Yeah. And I think that the citizens of the New York City are not going to object any investment in education.
Thank you. And Ryan, first of all, you gotta get extra credit in your class right now if you say something nice about your professor. But before you do that, you went to 2 different CUNY schools, and you said you graduated on time. And I'm interested to know, in your experience, if there were any particular programs or elements of your college experience that helped you graduate on time that we should be leveraging and leaning on and investing in for other students.
Honestly, like, what I will say is getting an associate's degree in 2 years, but then also CUNY offering for your bachelor's degree, I got that in 2 years as well. So having a lot of my CUNY Common Core and having that transfer over to my 4-year school, and graduating within 2 years, that was a great incentive to be sure to it just shortened the time of graduation. So
Thank you both so much for testifying.
thank you.
Did you say anything nice about your professor?
Yes, I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to speak with you and this assignment.
Yeah, you just got an A plus on your paper. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I'm not the professor, by the way, in case that was implied. So this concludes the in-person portion of our public testimony. Is there anyone on Zoom? If you are on Zoom and you want to testify, use the raise hand function. Oh, you're in person. Yeah. Come join us. You may go. Thank you so much for your testimony. Oh. Okay. We are unconcluding the in-person testimony. No, you did nothing. All right, thank you. You may turn the microphone on and begin when ready. And of course, please state your name for the record.
Okay, yeah. Good morning, everyone. My name is Rachel Nycc, and I'm the Senior Data and Policy Researcher at the Center for an Urban Future. We're an independent think tank focused on building a stronger and more equitable New York. Thank you, Chair Dinowitz, and members of the committee for the opportunity to testify. I'm going to start off sharing some data that we've discussed earlier today to give some framing on today's conversation. College degrees matter for economic mobility, as we see in New York City. Residents with a bachelor's degree earn twice as much as those who only have a high school diploma, 78 grand versus 40 grand. That's why any effort to build a more equitable economy will fall short without bold new commitments to ensure many more New Yorkers can earn a college credential. Despite steady progress in recent years, New York City still has a long way to go in boosting college attainment. New York ranks just 15th out of 25 major cities for residents with a bachelor's degree or higher. Today, most good jobs go to those with post-secondary degrees, yet wide disparities in college attainment rates drive unequal economic outcomes. Just 24% of Hispanic New Yorkers and 31% of Black New Yorkers hold a bachelor's degree compared to 69% of white New Yorkers. And in many communities, from Mount Hope and Mott Haven to East New York and East Elmhurst, fewer than 30% of working adults have a college degree. No institution is better positioned to change this trajectory than CUNY, but too many students, especially low-income students, first-generation students, part-time students, and working adults struggle to complete their degrees. And while graduation rates have improved meaningfully over the last decade, the system still has a long way to go. Today, grad rates range widely across CUNY campuses, programs, and students, as we heard today. The 6-year graduation rate for first-time full-time students seeking bachelor's degree at Baruch College is 75%. At Medgar Evers, it's 26%. Among first-time and full-time students seeking associate's degrees, the 3-year graduation rate at Kingsborough is 27.7%. At Hostos, it's 16.2%. And challenges vary across student populations. While the 6-year system-wide graduation rate for full-time, first-time students is 57.9%. It's 50.7% for Hispanic students, 45% for Black students, 43.1% for students over 25, and 21.6% for part-time students. Yet these are often the students who stand to benefit most from a CUNY degree. I just have a couple of recommendations, if that's okay. I'm like, here's the meat of it.
For the record, yes, please
Okay,
continue.
great. So the Center for an Urban Future recommends that the city pursue 3 key strategies to get more students to the finish line, which you can read more of our research on our website. The first is to set a bold 10-year goal to achieve a 50% increase in the number of Black, Latino, and Asian New Yorkers with a college credential, with a focus on closing gaps in the city's lowest income communities. A long-term goal can help keep college attainment outcomes front and center, but only if supported by the right policies and investments to get there. We recommend that the City Council and the Mayor's Office establish this 10-year target for boosting college attainment citywide, with a focus on New Yorkers who are underrepresented among college graduates today. This should be coupled with new efforts to boost graduation rates across CUNY by investing in proven college success programs. The second recommendation is to scale up CUNY ACE to match the transformative impact of ASAP, again, as we talked about today. CUNY ACE provides students attending CUNY senior colleges with academic advisement, career development, scholarships, textbooks, and transportation assistance, and has boosted graduation rates for its participants by as much as 40%. But limited funding means it serves just 3% of all eligible students. As it effectively did for CUNY ASAP, the council should scale up CUNY ACE to reach many more full-time senior college students. And the third recommendation is to pilot the launch of CUNY Flex. Part-time students consistently graduate at much lower rates, as we've talked about. We urge the council to support a CUNY Flex pilot, a program modeled on CUNY ASAP and ACE for part-time students, offering flexible scheduling, Omni cards, one-on-one advising, and free technology. CUNY Flex would better meet the needs of working and adult learners who find it impossible to enroll full-time. CUNY has made real progress in improving student success, but significant gaps remain. With a long-term, clear vision and sustained investment, the city can help far more students earn a degree, secure good jobs, and move up the economic ladder. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today and for your commitment to boosting graduation rates at CUNY and expanding pathways to a college degree for more New Yorkers.
Thank you, Rachel. And I want to thank the Center for an Urban Future, who, if you're not familiar with them, they have a lot of good research and good reports. In fact, some that have inspired hearings, higher education hearings that we've done over the past few years. I want to thank CUNY again for coming. I mean, this is a critically important issue, making sure our students graduate and graduate on time. There seem to be programs that work, that need continued investment. But it also seems there are some steps CUNY needs to take as well in terms of increasing their goals. I believe the goals that they set are not what CUNY and our students are capable of. I believe CUNY and our students are capable of a lot more than a 5% increase in graduation rates over the next 5 years. And as always, we in the City Council stand ready to make those investments in CUNY and to continue our partnership to make sure CUNY continues to be the greatest engine of social and economic mobility in the nation. The hearing is adjourned.